what she said!
We're getting screwed, man. Every time we turn around, we're getting screwed. Oh, the revolution's going to be through podcasting for sure. That's the only way we talk. It's the little guys that take the brunt of everything. It's got to stop. Peasants, man. We're just peasants. Every one of us. You watch those old movies, you see the peasants in the background with the kings and queens walking around. We're those people. We're those people. Good morning, peasants. Welcome to another episode of the Peasant Perspective. .ai. Ron is coming into the studio today. Don't know when he's going to get here, but when he does, we are going to have fun figuring out how this thing runs. I thought for a second that nobody was logged. I was like, this is going to be the first time I'm going to do the show open with nobody logged in, but yet I see people logged in. So good morning, everybody. Glad you made it. It's a great Monday morning. Good morning. Good morning is what I mean to say. Holy cow. It is early. You know, it's funny. The longer I do this, you wake up at like 4 a.m. to do this, man. It's so early to get in here, get the show all prepped and get going. So I'm really glad you guys make it. Mara Easel, thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. All right, we are going to start out this morning watching a little bit of a meme video by, I think it's Diddly Meme. These guys do a great job. And this is going to be our theme today. We're going to talk about warfare via memes. So let's take a listen to this. This is a good meme video about immigration, and it's got a little bit of catchy music. So I hope you guys enjoy. Maybe.
Joe Biden, if he just followed the laws, we wouldn't have this problem. But he wants this problem because, Maria, on day one, hour one, he came in and pulled back President Trump's incredible border policy, and this is what has ensued. 12 million people here illegally.
I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait.
We're not going to deport anybody who, in fact, has not in this country committed a felony. You only arrest for the purpose of dealing with a felony, and I don't count drunken driving as a felony.
Sitting on trains, every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name.
Don't give a fuck about the motherfuckers that was born and fucking raised here. Y'all raised the fucking rich.
Sorry for the swearing, Dad.
Can't afford to live here, but y'all gonna bring some other motherfuckers here? I'm fucking homeless. I work a full-time job, 40 hours, and can't pay to live here. How the fuck are y'all gonna bring somebody else here?
Starting January 1st, California will become the first state in the nation to offer health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
But then these people come, they get everything. They're getting their rent paid, they're getting money, they're getting phones, they're getting etc. What about the homeless people? What about the veterans? Exactly.
I love you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything, Joe Biden. Men at the migrant center, who are only supposed to be here for 4 days, have a recreation room with multiple TVs, plush couches, telephones for calling home, Xboxes, foosball tables, and games. I love you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything, Joe Biden.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
Migrants in New York City reportedly are refusing to stay in that makeshift shelter set up in Brooklyn, paid for by the taxpayers.
They're angry, having to wait in the cold for Border Patrol.
2 police officers in New York City were attacked by a group of illegal aliens near Times Square.
those guys were freed without bail.
You get people that disrespect this country, that don't love this country, and don't love the freedom. And this is what Joe Biden is bringing in.
I was at home, making my visas, sipping on my government juice. You know how it does, man. I'm fresh from Lagos, fresh from Nigeria. If I look angry, it's because someone stole my visa. If you walk into my kitchen, you will see the white powder. I'll be by the cooker, whipping it through harder. Don't be alarmed, I'm just cooking pounded yam. African boy, I'll never be a drug dealer. I rap my son.
But what about the Americans that are already here? What about the people that are already here that don't have homes, that don't have jobs, that are sleeping on the street already? Now they're getting stipends. I need money for me and my kids, and I was born here.
This invasion is insane. We need 4 more years of Donald Trump to secure our border. He's done it once. He will do it again.
Our country is being poisoned. So our border is open because Joe Biden has ordered it to be open and because Biden has broken the law and torn it into shreds.
If you knowingly let criminals into the country, if you are allowing the enemy to harm us, that sounds like treason, 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 treason.
So Reddit to the Dilly meme team on that one. That was a really good meme video. And it's really good. You know, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris opened the border. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is the meme war that's happening. And before we do that, though, I want to share with you guys an opportunity over at Augusta Gold. Did you know the biggest threat to your retirement is not something that's talked about often? Our increased longevity in America means default retirement accounts like IRAs, 401ks, and TSPs may not suffice. If you have over $100,000 in your retirement account, get instant access to a free 2-minute report from Augusta Precious Metals that reveals that the one step you can take to secure your financial future. Text SAFE to 35052 today. Once again, that's SAFE to 35022 today. All right, with all those people jumping across the border, we got problems here in the country. And these problems have spilt out because obviously over a significant period of time, we've built up sanctuary cities. We've built up a bunch of policies that create massive loopholes that you could literally drive an 18-wheeler with an illegal driving it through. And that's what we've seen across the country. We have thousands of truckers on the road that are not citizens. Many don't speak English. Many do not have valid driving credentials as compared to a native-born American who would have to go through the equivalent training and whatnot, you know, like reading street signs and things like that. We've got people doing that. Obviously, we've covered, and we're going to cover a tiny bit again today, the story about the superintendent of public curriculum in Des Moines, Iowa. Ron just made an appearance. Woohoo! You're going to have to figure out your computer over there. Oh, no. I think I got you on there. You have to figure out your cameras and stuff. So anyways, you know, they're taking real jobs. It's not just that they're here to pick almonds and strawberries, which is kind of the argument. They're taking real jobs. I want to play this little video here. This is actually, before I do that, when I was in prison, there was this one black guy that lived on my block. Okay. And when I was in Missouri, I'd probably been there a week, maybe 2, not too long, just kind of getting the lay of the land as far as how that prison went. Like I just figured out where the chow hall was in comparison to the rec yard, how to get back to my block, and kind of figured out how the guards behave and certain guards to watch out for. The game, right? I was figuring out the game. So I'm in the chow hall and I'm waiting in line, and it's like, you know, cafeteria. You go through, you get your tray, you get your water, you get your apple, then you go get your green beans and your corn and your, you know, scoop some ketchup onto your tray for whatever you could put ketchup on. Did you not figure it out?
Can you hear me at all? I don't think so.
I can only hear you through here.
Right. This is not functional.
I turned it on and I basically got you into Rumble there. So you'll have to get all the, okay. So anyways, he was standing in line and I don't remember what he was dishing up, green beans or something. And he was taking a while. And so I jumped around him, right? Like real patiently too. Like I stood there for a minute and then I kind of jumped around him so I could get the same thing just in front of him. Anyways, right as I did that, he was ready to slide down the salad bar, right? And he bumped into me and he looked at me and he's like, hey man. And he gave me this look that was like, I'm about to kill you. And he's like, we're on the same side. And I didn't understand what he was talking about because he was black. And I'm like, when we were kind of in the Mexican section, I was like, I didn't know what we were talking about. I was so intimidated. I went down and sat in my white area. I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I might have just started a race war, you know? Anyways, guy ended up being really cool. Talked to him a lot. And he was actually messing with me. He was trying to pull this whole, you're white, but I'm going to say we're on the same side. So the intended effect of confusing me worked. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, I got to know him fairly well. We talked pretty frequently. And one day after Donald Trump won the election, maybe within a week, he and I were walking back from the TV room towards the open dorm area. And as we walked by, you know, there's kind of cells and dorms going down off the hallway. And one of the dorms was dominated by Paisas, which is the Hispanic brothers, right? It's the Mexican guys, Latinos of all stripes. And they're loud and they cook loud food, like loud as in you can, you know, smell it. And, you know, they just kind of have their own thing going on. And they speak a different language. That is probably the most bothersome thing of all. So anyways, he walks by and he goes, well, I hope Donald Trump does something about these guys. And he points into the dorm. And I thought, yeah, because, and he talked about it a lot, where he's from, they compete with the Hispanics for work, right? So to him, he had this kind of like, I wouldn't have chosen the life I chose had there been a job for me, had there been something, you know. Yes, exactly. So this idea that these illegal immigrants are coming in and doing damage, it's really tricky because the zeitgeist, right? Those that govern us that have allowed this, they want to weaponize our virtue against us. Don't you want to be nice to your neighbors? Don't you want to be a good Samaritan? Don't you want to let these people in and give them a better life? It's like, it's not about that. I mean, yes, we do want to let them in, but we are a nation of rule keepers. That's actually significantly what sets us apart from other countries. We volunteer to keep the rules. They're forced to keep the rules as subjects. Okay. So we want to keep the rules. One of the things American people is because it's our government, we believe it's our police force, right? It's our military. So imagine a situation like this where you've got federal law enforcement in a city that's been overrun with crime, not just American crime, black on black, but also, you know, illegal immigration crime and things like that. And there's been these protests around the ICE facilities. There was an outright attack on ICE in Chicago this weekend. There was a vehicle, it was driven by a woman, there were males involved, rammed an ICE car, boxed him in, then another car came and boxed him in. Anyways, ended up resulting in a shootout and a civilian got shot. Ponyboy says, most people are naive and don't realize it's a race thing. I'm Hispanic. It's a wage slavery. They drive wages way down. That's right. It's not a race thing. It's a wage thing. It's a labor problem. You're absolutely right, Ponyboy. And unfortunately, as these problems advance, they become race problems, right? Because then it becomes paint with the broad brush. I don't think we're there yet, but we're getting close. Okay.
Well,
so
it's hard to capture the.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
It's harder to capture the people.
Yeah, when you're trying to identify them based on a characteristic that is not immutable.
Yes, exactly. So this was not a 911 call, a dispatch call in Chicago, and I'm going to play this towards the end here. What happened was federal troops were being attacked, actively attacked, and so there was a call. You know, if any officer is being attacked, everybody comes. All jurisdictions come in, right? It's an assist moment. It's a first responder moment. Well, maybe not so much in Chicago. They went ahead and their chief of police or whoever it was decided that they were not going to respond to ICE being attacked.
999.
999.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
Radio check. And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Spot. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
So you heard it. Clear out. Federal troops are under attack. Clear out. Now, meanwhile, this whole weekend in Chicago, there was an outright open hostile attack on an ICE vehicle. It took two vehicles to coordinate the box in, and it resulted in a shooting. This event is recorded. Now, I'm not going to play it because there's no audio other than just dash cams of vehicles ramming each other. And, they're like in traffic and they ram out. And it results in this horrible shootout. JD Pritzker gets asked about this on Jake Tapper's show, and he seems to think it's just propaganda. Never happened.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle, and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported on social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts are, and they won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
Yeah. So in that video there, JD Prisker's like, well, we don't know what's going on. ICE made a statement. It's on video. And just the night before, you called Chicago police not to assist federal officers that were under attack. It's like the most obvious thing. You know what I mean? Like, man, you talk about back the blue. It seems like, that was the whole thing. It was you guys are supposed to back each other. You know what I mean? So the other thing, so you've got Chicago, Memphis is where they're at, right? You know that? Did you listen to the show last week, Ron?
No.
Okay, so
I listened to. So my mic's working. Whoa. So can you hear me?
Barely.
Man, I can hear me loud.
Are you?
Yeah. Maybe I better turn it off.
Make sure your mic's on there.
Oh.
Does that help?
I don't know.
Thanks for bearing with us. Now I can hear something louder.
Shoot.
No, I can hear you now.
All right. I can't remember what I was going to say now. What are we even talking about?
Nice.
Oh, the news. I watched one episode 2 weeks ago and one episode last week. And other than that, I have no idea what's going on. I'm hoping you can catch me up.
It's been a busy couple weeks, Ron.
I've been pulling some long hours with the wife at home trying to do some recovery.
Yeah, well, I'm super glad you're back. I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Okay, so Donald Trump, he deployed troops to Memphis, and in a matter of days, they arrested, I don't know, 28 guns off the street, 100 people arrested, and on the ground reports for Memphis are like, yeah, streets are like suddenly quiet, suddenly cleaned up. So these no-go zones are suddenly we can go zones. Apparently DC qualified to be considered a safe city now, which was like unheard of. Wasn't even on their bucket list of things to become. So now he's moved into Memphis, which was, if I'm not mistaken, the murder capital of the U.S., surprisingly enough.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Per capita. I think that was a per capita thing. And then he's got troops in Chicago, and he's got, when I say troops, it's federal police force, DEA, ATF, DHS, ICE. It's this cabal conglomeration of all federal guys with a badge, including National Guard troops. And my understanding is National Guards are out doing patrols and arrests. They're sitting back and protecting the buildings. So the idea is don't waste resources for guys that have a badge that can make a street arrest to protect a building. Right. That's my understanding of how they're doing it. So Trump is also deployed to Portland. Now, we played a clip last week of the Portland chief of police. That's like, listen, there's 165 square miles of Portland. And the problem that everybody's upset about is one's block. It's just like a city block. I don't know what the big hubbub is about it. It's like, well, the hubbub is that you haven't done anything about one city block. If you're able to control 165 square miles, what's stopping you from taking that last block, buddy? You know what I'm saying? Like, hello. And so this weekend there was a protest in Portland, like, every way. I say this weekend as if it's like some novel moment, but pretty much every single weekend there's a protest in Portland. And there was an incident where a local resident was trying to drive down the street where this protest was at. And the police forced the local resident to turn around and just leave and wouldn't clear the protest. So the person was like, well, this is the road and I need to get home. And the police were like, no, get out of here. So they were essentially protecting the protesters, right? Now, their excuse was, we're not going to let you drive a vehicle down a street that's occupied, regardless of the reason it's occupied. Pedestrians take priority.
So it's a public right of way, but do the protest, do they have like some kind of a permit or something that allows them to close the right of way?
They don't have a permit to protest in front of ICE. Now, Donald Trump was asked to comment about this, about deploying troops to Portland. And he said this, because people were saying, oh, they say it's not that bad. He's like, just watch the TV.
Mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political
Chicago
thing.
and Portland.
I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called DC, District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. To have our nation's capital lose every week, it was like years, many years where every single week, somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commission has been very helpful. And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we'd love you to send in the troops because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African-American, who were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country.
I think that's what it boils down to for Trump, is he just senses it as an obligation, right? I love how I love how Trump talks in that extended hyperbole. Like, I saw the videos. You could watch the clips. They said it's the worst place in the world. They didn't really say the worst place in the world, but they said it's a hellhole. You know what I mean? Like, I just love the way he goes about doing that. All right, Sapphire Patriot, good morning, peasants. Welcome, welcome. Carlite, good morning as well. Carlito and Tiffany, good morning. And Pray the Rosary Daily, good morning. Glad to have you guys all with us this morning. We broke records last week, Ron.
Yeah, nice.
We broke some serious records. So
we'll go back home now.
I'm glad you're back. So now, this situation with ICE, years and years ago, I had a podcast called Latter-day Witnesses, and I had someone on that podcast who is affiliated through family with ICE. And I used this individual's married name on the podcast. And she had to call me up and have me take it down because this was years and years ago, like Trump 1.0. She had to have me take it down because she couldn't have the affiliation with her own spouse because the cartels, right? They could figure out who family was. And so she didn't use her married name. Her children didn't use their father's name because he was simply an investigator. He was a beat cop, basically, for ICE detective. It's a big deal. So Kristi Noem this weekend was talking about how the attack on ICE officers, the doxing, even actually putting out hits on them, has increased to be a really serious issue.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it. Our intelligence.
I think that's, in any other scenario, if you're putting hits out on cops, that's like life in prison. Like there's one January 6er who, in a stupor of idiocy, made plans to hurt FBI agents that were investigating him, and right, wrong, or indifferent, whether the investigation against him over J6 was right, you can't turn around and become the thing you hate and then turn around and become the very terrorist they're accusing you of being, right? It was pretty, anyways, the fact that people are doing that, it's a big deal. And what's going to get really scary is when as they are recruiting native born Americans, right? This ideological battle that's being fought. It's really interesting to me because there was one video I watched over the weekend of a young woman in her car. She's working 2 full-time jobs. She's got a college degree and she cannot afford rent. So she's living in her car, and she's been living in her car for a long time, trying to save up in order to, make a first and last deposit. And then she still can't probably pay the rent. So it's like a big deal for her. So she's talking about how she's trying to pick herself up by her bootstraps and trying to, make the hard sacrifices, but she's living in her car and she doesn't feel like she should be living in her car. You know what I mean? She's putting in all the effort and she's getting nowhere ahead. In fact, what she is working is preventing her from getting benefits that other homeless people that she sees are getting, right? So she's broken. She's crying. She's like, how do we do this, right? How do you survive in a country like this? The problem is legion, right? There's a lot of reasons why this stuff is going on. But just like that meme video I played in the beginning, most of this boils down to illegal immigrants taking jobs that are basically slotted for you. I mean, you can't when I see some of the estimates on numbers, did you see this? 55 million Americans or immigrants are here that are registered.
55 million?
55. Yeah, I know. It's like there's only 350 Americans.
Yeah.
55 million of them are here on H-1B visas, student visas.
That's like 20%.
I know. But that doesn't include the ones that aren't registered here. The ones that we don't know about, which some estimates go as high as 40 million. There are some groups now saying the number could be as high as 25 to 1/3 of our United States continental population is undocumented or alternatively documented immigrants.
Whoa. A third.
Here's what happened. And this is what people need to understand. Everything in life has cause and effect. We're getting some really bad audio here, and I know why it is. It's because of this being open. Okay. The reason there's this cause and effect, and it's this trickle that goes on. The baby boom happened, created a bunch of jobs, but then you had the introduction of birth control, free love, women's choice, feminism, and the slow degradation of the family. That creates a population decline. But yet we are a growing economy that is constantly creating more jobs and more opportunity. And so you've got to backfill with labor. When you don't have new kids coming into the marketplace, you have to backfill with labor. And where did we get that labor? Trickling across the southern border. Up until the point now, we talk about legacy Americans, native-born Americans are in population collapse, right? And so the only thing keeping the United States from being in population collapse is the inflow of immigrants. So how did we get...
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
What happened? Try it.
I think we got a total internet, please.
Really? Should we reboot? Oh, really? Yeah, I'm showing Wi-Fi. Yeah, it just went blank.
All right, looks like we might be back. I'm back on this.
My screen went blank. Nope. Now it's back. That says it's back. I got split screen, single screen, split screen.
Yeah. Split screen with you, I think. Oh no, split screen.
And I've got two cameras on you. There you go.
Why is our audio so bad? All right.
I don't know.
Audio source. Okay, my audio's good. All right, we're back. We had an internet crash.
Don't know what that's all about.
Don't know what that's all about. Probably just getting to the juicy stuff. Our sound is... We're a little...
We're about ready to read all the names on the Epstein list.
Yeah, we're just getting to that Epstein list.
Yeah, we just finished reading it, actually.
Yeah. Now that we finished the Epstein list,
yeah,
not to be repeated.
We got that all figured out.
Yeah, G. Pager says, "You are back in Salt Lake City. Thought I was having a stroke." No, it was just the internet. All right, let's go ahead and listen to Tom Holman here talking about we will be deporting.
Releasing so many people. You know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night? They did it on purpose, because when you put them in an ice detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. But if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings could be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power. They can warrant amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country out for future political power. That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done.
See, the thing
seems to make sense on base reality.
It does make sense on base reality. The thing about it is, until every job is full, you shouldn't be bringing in new people. Right? It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, the weaponization of the virtue, but they don't have jobs where they're at. That's their problem.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're not the World Cop. We're also supposed to be the
world's
cop.
employer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's your problem.
If we're gonna take that tack, then Mexico needs to be part of the U.S. and Canada too. Just make them 51st and 52nd states. Let's move on.
It's on Trump's bucket list.
Yeah, I think it's a wise move, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So this was in Portland. Fox News reported that just like in Chicago, in Portland, ICE was given stand-down orders. What are the chances this is coming from some higher-up cabal that's kind of running the resistance?
Security. Pamela Wagner told me she's extremely frustrated with Portland police. As she says, the Portland mayor
and city council largely blocked police from responding to any violence at ICE's building. Take a listen.
They're not really supposed to respond to this building.
Mm-hmm.
There have been folks that have been assaulted right down here on the street, even across the street, and it takes Portland police a while to respond, or sometimes they don't respond at all.
Is that frustrating?
It is frustrating. It's frustrating for us to watch people be attacked on the street and know that we don't have the authority to be able to really step in unless there's some nexus to federal law. That's frustrating for us.
And last night we did see multiple verbal scuffles almost get to the point of physical confrontations, all while the Portland police liaisons were standing just across the street watching everything, but deciding not to intervene. And that, in part, is why President Trump has said he is sending the National Guard here to Portland. He says the locals aren't doing their job when it comes to protecting this federal facility. So he's going to send the military in. But as of this morning, as you can see, the National Guard not out here just yet. We'll send it back to you.
All right.
Having just a little bit of experience with big crowds and riots, there's a certain, let me turn my camera back on for you guys. There's a certain element of being drawn in, right? There's like an attraction. It honestly is like a moth to a bright light. Like you kind of get drawn in. So by letting these protests continue around these ICE buildings in Chicago, Portland, and Dallas, and Seattle, and Tacoma, I guess is where ours is. By allowing these protests to continue night after night, it kind of draws people in. They think they can come and make a little bit of noise, be rambunctious, yell against the state, blow off some steam, and there's little to no consequences. I remember having this feeling like when I was at the Capitol, like this is my moment to blow off steam. I don't believe I was violent. I don't believe I did anything that was like over the top worth 7 years of prison. But my thought was I'm going to be a little rambunctious and let my voice be heard. We have to fight. Like not fight, like fight politicians. But you get what I'm saying? Like there's this middle ground of I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to be a little rambunctious because that's all I've got left. Mm-hmm. Well, when you look at these situations here, like when she says the verbal altercation kind of became physical, that's what's going on. People are being able to come and blow off steam. If you push it away and you're like, you can't be here, it doesn't create that night after night come back. It becomes a social event for those people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I fear is happening is it's becoming a social event for that particular demographic, underground demographic, and the police are just letting it happen. It's a big problem. So Trump was asked as he was getting ready to jump onto Marine Force One about the Portland scenario, and this is what he had to say.
Well, I disagree with that judge. I wasn't served well if they put judges like that on. I wasn't served well by the people that pick judges, I can tell you. Things like that are just too bad. I appointed the judge and he goes like that. So I wasn't served well. Obviously, I don't know the judge. But if he made that kind of a decision, Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives. Mr. President, and you have a judge like that, he ought to be that judge ought to be ashamed of him.
So Portland, he says, is burning to the ground, and all you have to do is go watch the TV, and you can see it for yourself. And you can even drive down there and see it for yourself, which you wouldn't really have a lot of reason if you're a sports fan to go to Portland, other than, I guess, for a Portland Trailblazers game. But if you're a football fan to watch those games, I recommend you football fanatics. Are you ready for some primetime NFL action? You like that? You ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune into Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays, don't miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on westwood1.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Yeah, if you're a big NFL fan, you got really no reason to go to Portland. They got no NFL team. Come on up to Seattle. Watch the Seahawks. Okay. Which apparently Seahawks have like one of the worst linemen in the whole league right now.
Oh, really?
Tape, almost bad.
How could he be that bad?
He's bad.
Oh.
He's bad. Like, you don't make any tackles.
Just roll over.
Basically, like, where's our? He's like the really bad. He's like the. He shows up for the triple team and leaves his man unguarded, goes and makes the sack. You know, like time after time after time. Okay. So this is more interviewing down at the ICE facility in Portland. Again, this stuff is happening, right? And this is a small group out there, but it's also, early in the evening.
Here, we have had huge crowds of protesters coming out every Friday for the past month. And this is the first time we are not seeing chaos. And that's because...
So remember how I said it's becoming a social gathering? Well, over the weekend and last week, quite a few people did get arrested. Quite a few people. In fact, there's one really iconic one where a girl like went and got in their face, got pepper sprayed, and then she gets arrested, and they bring out like a cart and they lay her on the cart, and she's like, ah! They haul her back into the facility on this cart like she's a piece of luggage.
Today, state and local officials allowed police to actually be involved in the crowd control with these protests. And that's what they did this morning, is they cleared out this crowd of hundreds of activists that included some paid agitators, according to federal agents. We saw a dozen people taken into custody, and at least 5 are now facing charges, including 2 accused of attacking officers. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was here in Broadview at the ICE Processing Center this morning. You can see this video of her on the roof where a sniper's nest has been put up as the threats against ICE have increased after more than a month of often chaotic protest at this facility. Despite not allowing local police to be involved in crowd control until today, Broadview's mayor argued ICE is completely to blame for the chaos.
When you see agents dispersing tear gas or chemical minutia or rubber pellets, what do you call it? It's unacceptable. We don't need to be policed. We know how to maintain.
The question from federal officials, though, is if you know how to police, why haven't you been doing it? And after more than a chaotic protest, federal agents have been left on their own to deal with these huge crowds of hundreds of activists trying to keep ICE officers from bringing in the illegal aliens that they've arrested as part of Operation Midway Blitz. And the change you can see here tonight, it is just night and day from what we've been seeing over the past month. Joey?
So I guess ICE has officially said no more. No more.
No más.
What I worry, geez, man, our audio is just bad. We have to figure this out. Okay, so the crowd's dispersing. They've allowed them to come week after week after week. It's become a social event. So probably, and I thought it was on that clip, but apparently quite a few people have been arrested that have been declared organizers. These are people that were funneling money. They were paid to kind of create these weekly events and kind of recruit through the week, right? Are they going to get charged on terrorism charges? I don't know. Like, that's the thing. The ramp up in this is shocking. I think a lot of people that think they're just cosplaying, just out for a good cause, are going to find themselves sitting in prison for a year plus, like a year on small stuff. Probably, I don't know that you're going to see anybody go away for 20 like Enrique Antario, 22 years. Probably not going to see that, but you're going to see some people that are going to spend some time in prison, and it's going to suck. And my heart goes out to them big time. So this was, okay. School board in Iowa. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
Oh my goodness, Ron. Okay. So the school board in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, hired an illegal immigrant as their superintendent of curriculum.
As their superintendent?
Yes.
How does that happen?
Well, we're going to find out how that happened. So it turns out he has a criminal record. Turns out he's got a visa. He's got a final order of deportation, and the Des Moines school board hired him to be a superintendent and was paying him $300,000+ a year. He's got weapons charges. Okay. When they found him, he had a gun on him and cash and took off running. He's the superintendent of public schools. Apparently he was an Olympic track athlete for Guyana. Okay. So he goes around, he claims to have a PhD, has no PhD, claims to have gone to schools that he never went to, got all the way through. This is Des Moines, Iowa, not Compton, right? Not some inner city neighborhood in New York. It's not Dearborn, Michigan. Okay.
Sounds like the vetting process is broken.
Well, apparently they hired some board to hire this guy, and now the school board is putting all the blame on them.
Now we're going to read this
Of course.
on behalf of the Des Moines Public Schools Board. In 2023, the Des Moines School Board hired JG Consulting to conduct the superintendent search. Hiring a search firm is common practice across the country in high-profile job searches, such as the superintendency. Today, the board chair directed counsel to take legal action against JG Consulting, which led the 2023 search and the hiring of Ian Roberts. The firm failed its duty to properly vet candidates. Ian Roberts should have never been presented as a finalist. And if we knew what we knew now, he would never have been hired. JG Consulting was responsible for advertising, recruitment, application and resume review, public domain search, complete reference checks, and presentation of qualified candidates. It also said it would conduct comprehensive reference calls on each applicant to include the verification of all related employment experiences. JG Consulting stated it would work with a third party to complete a comprehensive criminal, credit, and background check. The contract required JG Consulting to bring all known information of a positive or negative nature to the board. Because that did not occur, we are pursuing legal action as allowed by law. This is about accountability. Taxpayer dollars were used, and we are seeking accountability. Our district now moves forward, focused on what matters most, our students. It has been 7 days since our district started learning troubling information about someone we trusted. Each day we have learned more, and it has been difficult for all of us who care about the Des Moines Public School District. How we show up for each other defines us as leaders, staff, students, and community members. Sadly, some have used this situation to advance hateful comments. We will not be deterred or distracted by that. We are using this as a moment to come together and build a stronger future. Finally,
Okay, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, here's the problem.
Who is this woman?
She's the superintendent of the school. Like, she's the president
Okay.
of the.
Sorry to put some hate on you, lady, but if you're going to be talking about accountability, whether or not you hire a consultant to find a bunch of people for you, it's the accountability still rests on you.
Well, and they had in their hiring thing that his gun charge, and they ignored it, or they voted to overlook it.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
Here's public educators who are all concerned about guns and whatever. Oh, here, let's put a superintendent that has gun charges, because he'll be real consistent in the way he talks about guns.
Sure. But if you're going to hire a consultant, that's fine. But a consultant is just a tool to fix it. We're just screwed. But if you're going to hire a consultant, that's just a tool in your toolbox. You are still the one that is accountable and has to do the vetting as a board. You're the hiring entity. It's your fault. That's where the fault lies.
Yeah, and they're just deflecting, right? And maybe, okay, yeah, you deferred to these guys to bring candidates that you don't think you need to run them through E-Verify, but
no.
The thing with this story is it demonstrates the problem is not, and I have to go back to this terminology. It's not almond pickers and strawberry pickers. It's not just fruit pickers and, what are the farms going to do? That's not what we're talking about here. That's a good job. $300,000 a year going to an illegal, someone that's actively breaking our country's laws.
It also makes me question whether or not this was like a DEI hire and not a merit-based hire.
Oh, we know it was DEI.
I understand, but this is a clear demonstration of that.
Yes, it is. And it's a clear demonstration that too good to check. Oh, he has a PhD? Great. Let's not even call the university where he has a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So changing topics from that, this is now talking about the medical system. And we've kind of had this theme where we've played a few clips over the last few weeks, and certain states like Washington have put into their law the ability to force vaccinate, force medical procedures based on emergency orders and best available science and stuff like that. So we have a situation that's actively happening right now in Oklahoma where someone is being forced by the medical system to receive a certain type of medical care that the family and the person do not want. This right here, right, is one of those quartering soldiers moments. You don't know how bad it is and how much position and ground the government has taken to impose on you, to exercise tyrannical control over you and your what normally we would consider just, medical treatment decisions, how they can impose on you through the law. So I'm playing this because this is the thing we are trying to avoid when we try to avoid the control grid, when we try to avoid digital ID and things like that. They're already showing that they can tell you what medical care they're going to give. Imagine when it starts being tied to, your social credit score or something like that. So we're going to listen to this. He's kind of got a call to action here, but the big thing is pay attention to the little details of how it is they're doing this. Public interest. There's these catchphrases that they've told him that justify what they're doing. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Hey guys, well, it is 10:30 tonight, standing out here in front of Children's Hospital here in Oklahoma City, where I just met with mom who's being held prisoner in this hospital with her 17-year-old autistic son. Long story short, decided to pursue alternative treatment for her son who has leukemia. The doctor here in this hospital disagreed with her decision for what was best for her son. And he decided that he needed to return for more chemotherapy. So he put it in his notes that the mom was pursuing ivermectin and refusing a blood transfusion. This is all according to the mom. I just spoke with her. She said, well, first of all, those two things are not true. We were never using ivermectin, and we were never refusing a blood transfusion. It was never required. And she asked questions about if she were to need one, could she be guaranteed that the blood did not have COVID vaccinations in them? And then that was indicated as a concern to the caseworker who was called to this case this week. Evidently, a family member reported this mom, who's been the number one advocate and caregiver to her son, her autistic son with leukemia. She's been pursuing what is in the best interest of her son. Yet a family member disagreed, told DHS, who then consulted with the doctor, who said, if this son is not treated with chemotherapy, he will be dead in 2 years, even though he hasn't seen this boy in over a year. So, long story short, DHS is mandating that they be checked into this hospital, and now they're going to be staying here not just overnight, but through the weekend, since it's Friday night right now. They'll be staying here through the weekend, awaiting a court hearing, a mandatory court hearing on Monday, where she's going to have to bring evidence. Why should she bring evidence? Evidently, she's guilty until she's proved herself to be innocent. So she's got to have a court hearing on Monday. She'll be held hostage here in the hospital all weekend. I asked her, could you not just leave? Do you feel like you could leave? And she said it wouldn't happen. They would have me arrested before I got out of the hospital. They have a babysitter from Synergy here staying in the room with her overnight, and I guess through the weekend. So they're babysitting her, making sure that she doesn't leave with her son. And so all of her constitutional God-given rights are being violated tonight here in Oklahoma because the state knows how to care for her child better than she does, evidently. That's their opinion. And it makes my blood boil. And this right here, this, I believe, it has to be. Is it not the number one grievance? Is it not the number one concern here in Oklahoma that the state could just do this? This is why at the top of my list, I've been talking about DHS reform for years. Because if they can come in and decide what they think is best for your family and your child and then take them from you or mandate certain treatments because they think it's best, I don't care if a doctor thinks that he needs chemotherapy. It's ultimately up to the mom. She's been trying alternative methods. The boy has been getting stronger. He was mowing the lawn today. And she said, I think that the treatment that we are pursuing is working. She has the right to do that, to give the.
So that's the thing. Oh, I'm coming through your mic over there. So that's the thing, right? The treatment they're doing is showing results. A lot of people take chemo, don't feel like they get results. But the state has the power to do that. Now that's Oklahoma, right? That's Oklahoma that's doing that. They've got a babysitter inside of the hospital room to make sure that the child doesn't get taken out. That's an incredible overreach. You know, and where do you have to be mentally to be able to keep that child in there from presumably loving parents? It's really easy when you see a parent strung out on heroin and you're like, oh, we got to take the kids away.
Sure.
That's obvious. But what about when the parent is overly loving? What about when the parent literally spends their entire life caring for, in this example, an autistic child, probably spends tons of hours researching the best medications and the best procedures. Why? Because they love that kid independently.
That kid is their whole
Is their whole life. And the state's like, no, I need chemo. What if the kid dies from chemo? That's not our problem.
Yeah.
It's the control grid. It's a control structure. It becomes not about you. It becomes about the system. It becomes about protecting their system. It's about getting you on their benefit so that they control the decisions you make. Catherine Austin Fitts, talked about this for a minute on a podcast this week.
Right now, we are in a political war between the mega rich and everybody else. And the question is, if you're the mega rich, how are you going to control the many when you are few? The way you're going to do it was with programmable money, but programmable money doesn't click in and work well unless you've got everybody on the grid. You need to be able to track them. You need to be able to watch their behavior. You need to be able to influence their behavior. And then you've got complete control.
I haven't heard the term programmable money before. Are you talking about digital currency or something more?
It's digital money that can be integrated with a social credit system. So it says, if you didn't take your vaccine shot this month, we're going to turn off your money. That is a coup d'etat. That is the end of human liberty in the West.
Okay, so if you didn't take your vaccine, we're going to turn off your money. Or how about this? Hey, we're going to cut off your income if you don't let us treat your autistic child with chemotherapy when you're using alternative methods that are working.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Same concept, right? Or, oh, hey, you're bucking against the doctor and you're causing a stink and you called a news channel to tattletale on them. Oh, okay. Your accounts just went black, right? Just like they did in Canada to the truckers. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jordan Peterson explains what happens when we get into this control grid, right? How it is they're going to utilize it. And then I'm going to show you how they did utilize it in Canada. Again, it's the quartering soldiers amendment. It means nothing. It means nothing. It's a throwaway right, a throwaway platitude. Oh, the government can't quarter soldiers in my house. I never do that anyways. And posse comitatus. And, I don't even see troops in my neighborhood. See what I'm saying? Well, what happens now when Trump's got troops in Chicago and he's like, hey, housing for these troops is kind of spendy. So I'm just going to have them go live in the apartments with people and we'll just take over spare bedrooms. Sound good? About the amendment, the Constitution, right? Well, guys, it's the same concept here. You don't know how big a deal this control grid is, control of your financial savings and whatnot, until it touches you, right? Until you're a January 6th defendant who's like, okay, I want to go fight these misdemeanor charges and blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, oh, by the way, you're debanked. Oh, and by the way, you're unemployed. Oh, and by the way, you can't speak out. All your social media platforms are taken away. Oh, and by the way,
Quiet skies.
You can't fly anywhere. It's like, what? So Jordan Peterson describes the march of this and how they'll use this control grid to take over everything.
If you have digitally verified ID, then you run into the problems of digitally verified ID, and they're running down that road in China now. So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too. Although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, okay, so the digital ID system has you. It has your blood now. It has your genetic code. It has your photograph. It can identify how you walk. So even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait. It will convict you of jaywalking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Do you think that would be helpful or unhelpful?
I think it would bring in, and has already in China, I think it'll bring in a totalitarian tyranny so 100% complete that it would make George Orwell's 1984 look like a picnic.
I agree with that too. I lived in an environment where everything is controlled. It's called prison. You don't want to live there. Okay? It sucks. In fact, let's listen again. Let's just plow through this. Let's listen to the World Economic Forum. One of their, I don't even know who this guy is one of their spokesperson, one of their smart guys talking about this. And he's pumping it. He's giving us the sales pitch, not the warning, the actual sales pitch as to why we need the control grid.
The one final note I will make is that if you think about the benefits of digital money, there are huge potential gains. It's not just about digital forms of physical currency. You can have programmability, units of central bank currency with expiry dates. You could have, as I argue in my book, a potentially better and some people might see it, or a darker world where the government decides that units of central bank money can be used to purchase some things, but not other things that it deems less desirable, like, say, ammunition or drugs or pornography or something of the sort. And that is very powerful in terms of the use of a CBDC, and I think also extremely dangerous for central banks. Because ultimately, if you have different units of central bank money with different characteristics, or if you use central bank money as a conduit for economic policies in a very targeted way, or more broadly for social policies, that could really affect the integrity of central bank money and the integrity and independence of central banks. So there are wonderful notions of things that can be done with digital money. But again, I fear that technology could take us to a better place, but equally with the potential to take us to a pretty dark place.
But we're going to the better place.
Isn't it wonderful?
I think my favorite thing about that is he acknowledges both sides, but he's like, but the upside, but the upside. I mean, hopefully central banks don't use it to be dark. Now, Canada already did this during the truckers' strike up in Canada. They did this.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen.
Okay, so if you want to peacefully go down to protest your government, and literally the Canadian truckers protest, I didn't see anything other than jackbooted thuds beating up on protesters. I didn't see any counter protesting or protesters going back. But they came in, froze bank accounts. They got, I think they were asking for like 8 years for the organizers of that. Big deal, right? Now, this England last week, we played this clip, has implemented their digital ID for all work. You must now have digital ID to work. And their idea is this will help us solve the problems of unemployment. This is another one of those. Everybody get digital ID, and then we'll make sure everybody's working. And if you're, you know what I mean? And that will solve all of our financial problems. So even Palantir, this is hilarious to me. Mike Benz posted this. Even Palantir thinks that the UK's digital ID plan is a step too far. We've truly gone through the looking glass. Keir Starmer must take note of the mounting opposition and scrap plans for an intrusive mandatory digital ID. Nobody wants this. Not even spy tech companies. Epic Times report. Software giant Palantir snubs undemocratic digital ID scheme. The US-based company, which has been touted as a potential bidder, said that it would not seek any contracts around it.
Wow.
So even Palantir's like, that's a bit too far. RFK last week went to the World Health Organization and made a declaration that we are not going to be involved in the digital IDs as far as tying it into medical. This is very nuanced because on one hand, the Trump administration is rapidly pushing digital ID voluntary. They're rapidly pushing connecting all of the government databases and networks, which your digital ID will then tie into. Okay. So now, but at the same time, the United States is playing this fine balance between resisting the demand for it while at the same time embracing it. So I'm undetermined where we're going to end up as a country. Clearly, we're going to utilize digital currency, CBDCs of some form, digital currency, whether it's Bitcoin or some other type of crypto asset, right? Stable coins or whatever. But how much autonomy and sovereignty will I as an individual have in that system?
We cannot defeat the epidemic alone, but the UN's approach is misdirected. It attempts both too little and too much. It exceeds the UN's proper role while ignoring the most pressing health issues. And that's why the United States will reject it. The WHO cannot claim credibility or leadership until it undergoes radical reform. The United States objects to the political declaration of non-communicable diseases. Member states decided earlier this year that this meeting should approve a declaration in advance by consensus to ensure this gathering would not be marred by controversy. But the declaration is filled with controversy, with provisions about everything from taxes to oppressive management by international bodies of communicable diseases. The draft declaration before us today should not have been included in today's agenda. The United States will walk away from the declaration.
Okay, so they've got this declaration that goes with the United Nations World Health Organization that would have tied the CBDCs into the medical. So now, if you didn't want to get the vaccine, they would take your tax return, right? They were making that connection. So that's where RFK is saying, we're not going to connect those, especially at the international level. We're not going to let the WHO tell the IRS to withhold your tax return. We're not going to let the WHO tell DHS to put you on a no-fly list because you're unvaccinated. Does that make sense? So they're putting the line in the sand there, but they're not putting in the line in the sand that they're not going to keep those tools anyways, right? So there's kind of like the United States is walking this tightrope on how much do we embrace it for the benefits versus how much do we reject it for the costs. I don't know where we land on it in the end. It's really hard to tell, which is why all of you need to tune in every single day to Rumble. Hopefully this little ad will launch here in just a second. Maybe it'll launch. I don't know what's going on. Do we have another internet crash here?
Maybe.
Oh, we're so lucky. We're really rolling on it today. All right. Well, we'll try it again after this next video, which is Chase Hughes. He's a former CIA PsyOpper. So this is a guy who initiates, runs PsyOps, and trains the CIA new officers how to do these PsyOps. But before we do that, we've got failed campaign in progress. Okay. We want you to, this has been running, so I now need to read it. We want you to encourage it. What's going on here? If you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free and simple to use. Hold on.
This is the worst ad read ever.
Rumble, I want to sincerely apologize. I got to fix the audio here in fairness to you. Okay. If you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free and simple to use and the best way to stay connected to the content you want. Once you've got it, search for my channel and hit follow. That way you'll get a notification every time we go live. No missed shows, no extra steps. You can grab it right now. Using the link in the description or the pinned live chat. Download it to your phone and you're ready to go. And if you prefer watching on the big screen, Rumble is available on all major streaming devices and smart TVs. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action. All right. Yeah, I think the internet kind of hurt that ad just a hair.
We'll see.
Why won't it turn off? What is the deal? Well, we'll just let Rumble figure its thing out while we listen to PsyOps. And Chase here says we are absolutely in one.
That teaches PsyOps, telling you that we are in a PsyOp. 1,000%. We are in a big time PsyOp. And that does not mean that I have some kind of X-ray vision and I can see the puppet masters up above the stage. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't research that stuff.
Right.
But I do research these techniques. And they're definitely here. And it looks like this is the same process that's happened all over the world where PsyOps were sped up and weren't allowed to mature before the next phase began. And I think people are saying, well, this is bonkers, or this is ridiculous, just crazy. Like it's just in your face.
Yeah.
It's from the left, from the right, from everywhere.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with left or right. And I think that is in itself a whole nother discussion.
Yes.
But we're seeing a timeline being sped up. We're seeing things done more and more in the open because there's probably not time for the previous step to mature to get our minds ready to receive the next one.
I see.
That's what it is.
So basically, this PsyOp, whatever Truman show we're living in, dude, that's your mic. Okay. We got to get you one of those short space mics. Okay. So whatever PsyOp we're living through, it's accelerating. And it's accelerating to the fact where one narrative doesn't settle in before the next narrative has to get going. There's a lot of people that speculate is that we're pushing up to 2030. That's when all the UN agendas are set to, supposed to be completed. What exactly are we accelerating toward? I don't know the answer to that, right? But clearly he is correct in the fact that this is what we're seeing is it's like the narratives aren't setting and they have to move into the next one. And what's happening, and this is what I see, is the left is getting further and further and further out there, right? The immigration, we need the jobs. That's not working. Tariffs are going to cause a recession. That doesn't happen. Trump's going to be Hitler. Well, okay, he does have troops in the street. We'll give him that one. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta, you can go on and on and on. It's like, for the most part, the narratives aren't setting in and the next thing's coming. Trump has been really good about getting on top of these narratives. And the reason he's been really, and this shows through because even places like CNN can't actually change what the voter and what the average American is consuming. Because remember, the vast majority of news and information is now consumed online and through social media. So here's an example going back to the election when Trump voters were being paneled by CNN and they were asking some Trump voters questions about the 2020 election. And this gentleman that was on their panel answered the question, but CNN edited it. Again, you're in a PsyOp. You're not getting the real information, but the American people are pretty smart. It's getting through.
Bear is painted as a conspiracy theorist. Look at the on-screen chyron. Quote, Trump voters on his unproven voter fraud claims, unquote. The implication, no evidence of voter fraud whatsoever. When Camerata asks for proof, the panelist has no answer. Or so it seems. Here's the raw audio from immediately after the edit.
I have seen busloads. I guess I can't cite the busloads that I've seen and where I've seen them, but on television I've seen it. And I mean, has anybody looked into like what James O'Keefe has done when he went undercover to these various polling places? He went in and basically was ready to vote as somebody else. Nobody asked for ID. I was actually a poll watcher in New Jersey, and I saw what was going on there. There were college students voting, and you use that's right. Or you use a provisional ballot, and it's never challenged. They just put it right through. I mean, this is common.
At the moment Bear is about to cite the evidence for his claim, CNN ends the clip. The piece suggests that Bear did not have a legitimate answer to Camerata's question. In actuality, the answer was cut because it didn't fit their narrative. This is a textbook lie of omission.
So we are clearly in the PsyOp. And what's the PsyOp that one wanted? That 2020 went smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are in a war. We've known this, right? We talk about it. I almost hate to use the word because, I'm sure some nefarious clip will show up someday. We are in a war. Oh my gosh. That's not what I meant. I was talking hyperbolically. It was like one of the first responses I told the FBI when they said, did you say this? I said, as a matter of hyperbolic rhetoric. And they kind of like moved on with the questioning. It's like, that's like the kill switch for free speech. Did you say this? Yeah. Hyperbolic rhetoric. It's like they're not used to normal citizens knowing that phrase. Okay, so this is from did we do it again?
Yeah. Frozen.
Totally frozen.
Yeah. You're like this.
All right, we're back.
Yep.
I froze. Don't know why. Okay, we're going to play this fun little video. This is about memes. It's a little bit historical, but I actually think this is really important because in the 21st century, when information is fast, right, and where TikTok is 15 seconds, memes. If you can share truth through memes, you can change that zeitgeist. That is the thing that the right, memes gravitate towards truth, right? Memes are something where you can look at it, see the truth, see the contradiction in the world, and it makes the cognitive dissonance stand out, right? Because the meme, the thing that's obvious, can't be disputed. Does that make sense? So if you have truth on your side, memes are usually going to be on your side. If you don't, it's not going to feel that way. That's the difference between the left and the right now. The left tries the memes. The problem is their memes don't go anywhere because they don't trigger that cognitive dissonance between the truth and reality. Memes have been used both intentionally and inadvertently our nation's entire founding. Memes are the way to get to the free man's thinking process. This is a fun little video about memetic warfare.
At the heart of America's story, where the fight for freedom is rooted in the very soil, there exists a silent weapon as potent as any musket or cannon.
Fresh off the press.
This is the tale of memetic warfare, a battle waged not with bullets, but with ideas, symbols, and slogans that have shaped the very essence of our nation. It all started with a stark image. Benjamin Franklin's "Join or Die," a powerful call for unity among the colonies. This wasn't just an illustration. It was a meme that ignited the spirit of collective resistance, a precursor to the identity of a nation yet to be born. From resistance to rebellion, the Gadsden flag, with its coiled rattlesnake and the warning, "Don't tread on me," symbolized the colony's readiness to strike back against oppression. This flag was more than fabric. It was a declaration of defiance, a visual shout for liberty that echoed through the heartbeat of revolution, igniting a fight for freedom from tyranny. As time marched forward, new icons emerged. Uncle Sam, with his finger outstretched, beckoned, "I want you for the U.S. Army." This image transcended mere recruitment. It was an invitation to join a greater cause, to defend the homeland. A meme that echoed through generations. It became synonymous with American resolve. The rise of political cartoons and mass media opened a new frontier for memetic storytelling. Satirical sketches in newspapers gave way to TV clips, and eventually, the internet transformed the battlefield once again. Memes, no longer confined to print, became instant shareable weapons in shaping public opinion and common understanding. Fast forward to today, and the Dilly Meme team wages digital warfare with unmatched prowess. Their creations don't just entertain, they reshape narratives with viral force. And on June 14th, in the 2024 election, they emerged as messaging masters, using memes to redefine the art of political storytelling. Their strategy, equal parts sharp humor and pointed satire, reached deep into the national discourse, rallying support and altering perceptions. This wasn't just about winning votes. It set a new standard for how campaigns engage with the electorate, proving memes can sway opinions, mobilize communities, and shape modern political engagement. As we look ahead, the struggle for minds and hearts continues, fought not with swords, but with ideas. Memes are our banners, our battle cries, our charge, sparks of the American epic. They tell us who we've been, who we are, and who we might become, charting the course of a nation still writing its story. This is our legacy, and the best is yet to come.
Well, that was kind of a fun little video on memes. They have kind of a history with the United States. Join or die. You know, that Gadsden flag, that was the shirt I was wearing on January 6th. Yeah. Don't tread on me. That is an idea that has spanned space and time. Now, the left, when they meme and when they do this kind of meme warfare and funny videos, like right now during the shutdown, the whole thing is, oh, the Republicans have fled town. They're not even here to help. So this is our very first transgender representative. I can't even remember her name. It's irrelevant. But, you know, this woman is walking around the Capitol wondering where the Republicans are. This is their version of shutdown.
All my Democratic colleagues are here. I'm going to go search for my Republican colleagues. Republicans, Y'all know there's a government shutdown. Republicans, anyone here? Is Mike Johnson in here? Let's see if some Republicans are in here. Are there any Republicans in here? Hello? Republicans?
Oh, Ron, don't think it's too cringy.
They left a mess and
I wish
left
people
town.
could see Ron right now. He's cringing. He's like, oh. All right, so then it gets to the end. This is the best part right here.
We're 12 hours away from a government shutdown, and
Oh wait, no,
Republicans.
it was when she gets
You
her
guys
friends.
go.
Hey,
Hi, Democratic
look at this.
colleague. Hi, Democratic colleague. Max, I'm looking for Republicans. Have you seen any?
I have been looking too. They're nowhere to be found.
Have you guys seen any
That's real. That's real. That person spent millions of dollars on a campaign. That's why conservatives have come back from the brink of oblivion, is meme warfare. Our memes work. Compare the last video to that video. Oh, it's so fun. Okay, so who was that? Oh, here's another interesting thing too with it when it comes to memes. Right? Memes convey information and can open the door. But at the end of the day, you still have to go and do your own research and do your own thought. So this gentleman that I'm about to play right here, he is on MSNBC regularly, like probably daily. He's like a daily contributor, comes into all the time slots, all the different hours, and gives his little spiel on whatever. Okay. He's just one of the norms. It's like a Scott Jennings kind of character over at MSNBC. And he has some of the weirdest takes, but there's this presumption that these people that they put on TV are at least knowledgeable or at least know. And even if they choose, to see a story one way or have an opinion one way, okay, that's great. This guy's not even there. Right. So two of the biggest stories in the last, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, I guess, because the Steele dossier, you go back pretty far. This guy is in utter, total, and complete denial.
Yeah, it is very frightening to look at a Justice Department that's corrupt. And I had a few questions for you. And if you could answer them yes or no, and then please elaborate, it would be appreciated. Do you think that the Hunter Biden laptop was real? And do you think it affected the election? And do you think that the Steele dossier was real? And do you think it affected Donald Trump's administration? Thank you.
Okay, fair question, Ron. Do you think the Hunter Biden laptop was real, and did it affect the election, presumably the 2020 election? And do you think the Steele dossier was real, and did it affect Donald Trump's administration? 2 questions. Pretty simple answers. Like there's almost...
How long do I have to think about it?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's hear his answer. This is a well-paid pundit. He's got a C-SPAN moment here, Washington Journal C-SPAN. Okay, he's on MSNBC, like I said, regularly. So what's his answer? I mean, you could just subjectively say, yeah, the laptop affected the election, whatever. We'll see.
Do you think Hunter Biden had a laptop? I do not believe anything that they have said was on it, except for what I can independently verify. Do I think it affected the 2024 election? No, not really. I think it affected.
Was that a really slick way to deflect from 2020?
Did he try at all to check it out?
That's of course not. Now he's deflecting away from 2020 to 2024. Did it affect the 2024 election?
I think it affected Joe Biden and his family, and I think that the Republicans glommed onto that, and I think that was sad, and I think it's sad for Hunter Biden, but I don't think it actually affected the macro political environment that we're living in. What was the second one? Do I think the Steele dossier was real? I think there was a Steele dossier. I think it was real. Do I think it was true? Probably not at this point. I mean, I thought it was true for a long time.
So have you mea culpa'd all the stuff you said when you called Donald Trump a traitor and all the people around him treasonous? Did you maybe go back and reassess those things?
Seen evidence, in the past 3 or 4 years to suggest that some of the stuff was not true. So I've kind of changed my opinion on whether or not it was true. I know it existed. Do I think it affected the 2016 election? No, I really don't. I think that Trump's criminal behavior, I think that his crass behavior, I think that
we are leaving this here with a reminder you can watch it in full.
That was the C-SPAN. That was the C-SPAN.
One of your memes.
No, that was the C-SPAN fill-in. Okay. So imagine that, right? Do I think it affected things? No. This is someone who's out of the loop. What he is looking at in politics, the things he's looking at that's driving the people, they're not the things that are driving the people. What drives the people, the peasants, hypocrisy, seeing hypocrisy in our leaders. The Biden laptop shows us that. The Russiagate thing shows us that, right? Seeing government weaponized against people we've picked for government, as well as against we the people. We don't like that. That guy doesn't listen. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't care. To him, this is team sports. This is team play. We win, you lose. I don't care what's on the Hunter Biden laptop because there's no way it's going to serve my team. So I don't even want to look. We'll just slander it and say, oh, you guys make stuff up. What if not one word said about the Hunter Biden laptop was false? What if he really did take nude pictures of himself with his niece? What if he really did say some of the things he said? What if he really was sending wire transfer instructions to CEFC China?
He really did do all that.
Exactly. Exactly. The Republicans just glommed onto it. Okay. Kind of like Republicans glommed onto a blue dress with on it, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's Donald Trump talking about this shutdown, because believe it or not, we are in day 4 of shutdown. Pretty good, unless something changed while we were on the air. So Donald Trump's being asked about, are you going to be firing people during the shutdown? Best answer I've seen yet. Already happening.
Begin firing federal employees during this government shutdown.
That's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown. It's their shutdown. And I hope everybody likes what's the Presidential Walk of Fame. You know that? Have you seen it's beautiful, isn't it? Presidential Walk of Fame. Thank you very much.
I love the deflection for the last few seconds. So the shutdown. Yep, people are getting fired. It's all the Democrats' fault. Now, anybody knows that they could just furlough those people and bring them back in 6 months, but they're using this opportunity to cut. Oh, here's that video of the car blocking, or the car not being able to go down the street in Portland. It was a little out of place for the show. So they're making serious cuts. Here is
couldn't get to $2 trillion the way they wanted to, so I guess it's going to get there any way they can.
Yeah. This is Mark Victor Hansen, and why is our audio bad again?
I don't know.
This is Mark Victor Hansen and his take on how Trump is just winning. And I think, again, this is very difficult because sometimes in the news, you'll hear some pundits are like, Republicans are going to have a hard time in the midterms. And then you hear stuff like this and it's like, are the Republicans even going to be challenged in the midterms?
90 years. We're watching the greatest counter-revolution in some 90 years. We have not seen any president try to radically change the political calculus and the nature of government since FDR did it during the New Deal. Donald Trump is winning on all of these social and cultural issues. People are angry about this counter-revolution for 2 reasons. Because it's working and it's succeeding beyond anybody's wild expectation. And what do I mean by that? Donald Trump closed the border. Nobody thought he could. He closed it. The Wall Street Journal said we would be in a recession now. Tariffs would cause a trade war. We would see the stock market collapse. The opposite has happened. The universities are rushing and competing with each other to cut a deal with Donald Trump. Abroad, we see that Iran no longer poses a nuclear threat. We're going to see in the next year a frenzy, a frantic, almost out of mind reaction from the left. Brace yourself. It's going to be fierce and unhinged. We're
going to be fierce and unhinged. What do you think? His assessment? Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. It's going to be.
Not to say too much because our audio sucks.
Our audio is so bad. Okay, we have reached the point in the show where we need to jump over to private. I apologize for some of the audio issues we had. We're going to jump over to private. We're going to talk about judges and what we need to do to judges. We're going to take Bukele's advice down from El Salvador. We're going to hear a little musical about ending the Fed. Maybe we'll play that. We're going to, let's see here. We're going to talk a little bit about the ceasefire with Hamas, which was on and apparently is off. And we're going to talk a little bit about Islam. So we're going to go over to private. Those of you who can join us, we really appreciate it. If you're on Rumble Premium, please consider that. And of course, if you're doing it, be on my page and hit the Rumble Premium subscribe button. That way, I get credited for, converting you over. It's like helps me somehow. Don't forget to repost the show. Those of you listening on Rumble, please hit repost on YouTube too. The few of you out there, please repost the show, make a comment in the comments. And if you haven't commented on the live chat, we have to get so many live chatters per month, and we're not fully to our goal yet. And we still have, I don't know, what is it? Still got 2 weeks, whatever it is, 3 weeks left. Please live chat. So we'll talk to those of you that'll be joining us in private in just a few seconds. Those of you on the public side, we will talk to you again tomorrow. All right, bye.